Hey everyone, this is Charmaine from FUNtastic Crafts. I hope all of you guys are having a wonderful week. I know it's been a while. I'm sorry. I am trying to get back into the groove of making cards and making uploads at least 3 times a week, but it's taking me a little bit of time. So I wanted to make this card. It was actually for a teacher. I wanted to make a happy birthday card for her and use all the teacher things that we know, like pencils and apples and rulers, just anything that reminded me of teachers. So what I started with was multiple sets of stamps. I wanted to kind of mix and match the different kinds of stamps and kind of take images from all of them, whichever ones I thought I liked. So I just simply stamped it with the Memento ink. And I just stamped a few because I was going to I did use my scan and cut to cut these out. So I just went ahead and stamped various images from different sets. I used a ruler, I used some number 2 pencils, I used apples, and just any other image that I thought would make this card wonderful. So once I was done stamping all those images out, I just simply put it in my scan and cut and scanned it, and then just direct cut those images. And it's super easy to do this instead of fussy cutting. Now you can completely fussy cut any images out. I just wanted to make it a little easier for myself, so I did this. I am going to play some music as I color these. I just use my Spectrum Noir alcohol markers to color these. I do like to do it after I cut it out, just because sometimes the scan and cut picks up any of those little scribbles I go, or anytime I go out of the line, and it cuts those out too. So I like to color after I cut it out. So I'm going to put some music on, enjoy this coloring, and if you do not want to watch the coloring part, you can just fast forward it. All right, I'll see you when the coloring is done. welcome back. If you guys watched all that, kudos to you. And if you didn't, that is completely okay as well. It was very long, so I totally understand. So this is going to be a pop-up card. It's going to be a box pop-up card. So to do that, I'm going to cut just as if I was cutting a card base. So this is a 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, which I cut in half the horizontal way. So each side is then, let's see, it's 5.5 by 5.5 by 8.5. There you go. So then I did my score marks, and the score is the long way at 2 1/4, so it's just half. And then I score at every 2 inches, so it'll be 2, 4, 6, and then the last score will be at 8, and that will create your little tab at the end. So I'll show you how I trim that off just to create a little tab. Sorry about the measurements. The correct measurements are displayed on the screen. So there was, let's see, vertically you score at 2 3/4, and then horizontally you score at 2, 4, 6, and 8, and that creates your little box. You will also need a few additional pieces. 2 pieces you will need at 2.5 by 3 inches, and then you're going to score those 2 pieces at 5, and then also at 2.5. You will then fold and crease those little score lines that you created, and this is going to be the inner part of your box card. So it'll stand up just like that, and it will go right into your box and fit nicely, so you can create those layers. And in hindsight, my layers would have looked much better, but it's always hindsight 2020, right? Anyway, so showing you how to cut this. This is how you create that tab that I mentioned earlier. You just kind of cut at an angle, then cut off the other piece, and then you create this angle. It's very difficult to, or at least for me, to describe it in words, but I have the video up right there for you so you can see that. It was a little difficult for me to explain it. But also, then you move on to the other little slices where you slice into the box, and that's going to just be where you'll be able to, it'll be like the 4 sides of the box, and it'll make sense a lot more once you see it assembled. But again, if I were to do this again, I would crease and varnish all of that before I made those little slits, because it would have just been much easier. But as you can see, you see that now it's this little box, and that tab is used to create that box. It's super easy and super, I really liked this technique of doing it just because the tab made it so easy to see where I was going with the box. So all I put was some double-sided adhesive. I use this just because it's a stronger adhesive, so I thought it would hold up better to mostly me playing with this card, because that's what I do all the time with these kind of cards. I just kind of like close it and open it and close it and open it just because it's fun. This is an A2 size card, so the box is a little smaller than your traditional, let's see, the A7 card, but this would fit in an A2 envelope, and it would be perfect to mail, and it doesn't need any extra stamp or anything like that. So now you can see where I have created this box. So you have the back part and the 3 sides, and so in total you have 4 sides to the box. Now I'm going to be getting those little the little pieces that we created or cut earlier and scored at those 0.5 and 2.5 inches, and you can see it just fits right into it. And this is a little tricky. Putting on this was a little difficult. You kind of have to I guess this is how I learned. Honestly, I messed up, and then that's how I learned. This is how it's done. So I kind of tried to put it up onto the camera so you guys can see it as well as possible. But I'm not sure if I did a good job. But if you have any questions, or if you like me to film this part again, let me know and I will gladly do it. So you kind of have to tuck in one. So on both flaps, you put the double-sided tape. So that's the first step. And then you fold one side in, and then put one flap adhesive side to one side of the box. Then you close the box, and then the other side should go in nicely. I know it sounds so confusing, but hopefully you can just rewind that portion of it, and then it will be really easy once you see it.